The following program is rated MA and may contain themes that may not be appropriate for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
On the block, hip-hop trendsetters, the school of hard knocks and that attitude era. Yeah, I just wanted to be one of the best, holding the mic as I'm yelling out D-Generation X. I will remember it. I never forget. We've come a pretty long way. There's so much I can say. It's never really gone away.
The crowd is hot and heavy as right now Liv Morgan on my screen is making her way to the ring, but we are making our way into your living room via whichever device you're watching on. You are watching the Raw Patrol with Chris Best and OMD here. OMD, how are you doing today?
I am doing very well, a lot better than yesterday. I've had, like you, as we discussed, because I want to thank you for joining me on the Locker Room Breakdown. I've had a very lazy, quiet day, lazy, quiet weekend. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, we hypothesized and put a bunch of new questions out for tonight's show. And it's going to be interesting to see what answers we get and when.
Yeah, and right now we are looking at the events of the main event from last Monday night, where Bianca and Jade got the victory over Liv and Raquel, and I'm seeing Nia just dominate everybody.
Yep.
Now we're looking over at SmackDown as well.
Yep.
Does this segment with Liv and Raquel coming out, is this what leads to the Women's War Games match?
I have a feeling, and I really wasn't expecting this to open the show. I was expecting this a little bit later. But I guess you probably got to, and as much as I hate to say it, you really got to bookend the show with setting your two War Games matches.
And that's probably how War Games is going to be booked. And we got Bobby Stats coming into the chat saying, hello, guys, and happy Monday. Very happy Monday to you too, Bobby. Glad to have you here.
As always, yes, we appreciate you being here. Thank you for being our longest-running, most consistent member here at Turnbuckle Studios and the TAP.
No Bailey. Interesting.
I do know this spoiler, but I'm not giving it away.
WTF David Blaine. Oh, wow. Yes, 100% yes. I thought she was going to be, I thought they had said she was going to be gone for a little while.
Yeah,
They got me. They got us.
they did.
But at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm like, well, wait a minute. When Undertaker broke his orbital bone, he was maybe gone a month, and then he had to come back with the mask.
Yeah.
There was another wrestler, too, who did the same thing, and I can't think.
Cody.
Green. Cody. Yes, Cody did it, too. Chelsea Green did it, too, with the broken nose. But wow, What an announcement just for War Games. I mean, I'm glad we didn't get Nick Aldis or Adam Pearce coming out and saying that. I'm glad it was just Rhea Ripley coming out, War Games, and then Brawl, you know?
See, and all I had seen in the spoilers was Rhea's music hit and her come down. I didn't see her say War Games. I didn't see the headbutt, anything like that.
And we've got, yes, Pete, we do know that this is pre-taped. We don't want no spoilers, so.
No. I believe tonight's episode is from Grand Rapids, Michigan, again, as it was last week. So, and Grand Rapids is a hotbed for wrestling.
I'm actually glad and slightly disappointed that it wasn't Bailey. Bailey also would have made sense in this situation.
Right.
But I'm happy. I'm jacked about this.
Right. And now we're getting clips from SmackDown again with Bronson Reed joining Solo's bloodline.
Yeah, Pete, I understand. He's saying I'm not because he's only seen the Rhea clip. I didn't see anything. I'm surprised with some of the wrestling groups that I belong to. No DQ.
Right.
I'm actually surprised that group didn't spoil anything for me.
Right.
And I've been in that group a lot this past week. But right now, yeah, we are looking at everything that happened for the men's War Games side of things. What I find interesting about both War Games matches actually is they've managed to make both War Games matches co-branded.
Yes.
And they did it in a nice way, in a way that I enjoy.
Right.
In a way that I could get behind. There was a tale of the tape between Rollins and Bronson Reed right now. Ooh, all right. Yes, so we're getting set for our first match right now.
We are. That still leads me to believe that I think we're going to see that tale of the tape again. I believe that is our main event tonight, and if it isn't, there is something really, really wonky with their booking.
But Zelina Vega coming out not showcasing her flag for once this week.
No, she's not. And wearing Washington Commanders colors tonight.
Well, so is Ray.
Yep.
Ridge Holland and Andre Chase, #1 contenders match for the NXT title.
Yes.
That's so weird to say Andre Chase is in a #1 contenders match.
Yes, but if he loses, Chase U disbands.
Then I want Andre Chase to win because I love what they're doing with Chase U.
Right?
Bobby Stats, we are having a fantastic day now because Rhea Ripley showed up on my screen, and I'm happy.
Yes. What a hot way to start the show.
Wow.
And yes, it is a great Monday today. We both had a very relaxed day. And now it's time to kick back with some Raw and
the only annoyance I had today was while I was out. These are Bluetooth headphones I'm wearing right now, and I can plug them into my computer, but it still drains the battery sometimes. The only annoyance I had was while I was on the bus listening to my tunes with these headphones was my headphones decided to die out on me.
Oh no.
Luckily,
go ahead.
Luckily, I was about 10 minutes away from getting home.
Nice. Bobby says he's having an awesome day since he's watching our show. Well, thank you, Bobby.
Awesome.
We greatly appreciate that. We're happy to bring a little bit of enjoyment and something to you and help you with your day.
Holy cow, the football game hasn't even started yet?
No. What's the game tonight anyways?
Houston and Dallas.
Ah.
I think I'm taking the Texans to take this one. And I'm basing that off the fact that Dak Prescott is not in the lineup and won't be in the lineup for the rest of the season.
Right.
He actually had hamstring surgery yesterday, I think they said.
Yeah.
And I'm also kind of slightly cheering for the Texans because there's a part of me that wants to see Parrish become happy with his fantasy points.
Right. As we get the ad for War Games. And now we know the women's War Games match is set.
Oh, that was still, that's just the way Rhea did that was beautiful.
Right. And I'm going to say this because it reminds me of the way they introduced War Games into NXT.
When Regal did it, right?
No, when Bron Breakker did it.
Oh, because the way she said it made me think of because the way Regal would say it, and I still want him to come out every year to say just War Games.
Right.
You know,
this was during, I think it was when they first introduced it during NXT 2.0. And you were getting the black and yellow versus the rainbow brand, as I'll lovingly refer to it. And Bron Breakker came out, looked at everybody because he had Tony D'Angelo and I can't remember who else with him, and just yelled War Games. And that was it.
Yeah, because I was going to say, you said when NXT first introduced War Games, I'm like, wait, I don't remember the Undisputed Era coming out and saying just War Games.
No, it was Bron Breakker.
So we're looking at some clips from Complex Con, which is why Hunter was in Vegas over the weekend. He was also there for a UFC event on Saturday, I believe.
Yep.
But they just announced that Travis Scott will be there, and they announced the actual date for the first Raw on Netflix, which is January 6th, which I call my birthday Raw because it's close to my birthday.
Right. Yep. With the official location, and he presented Travis Scott, who will perform with the Hardcore Championship.
It was a different looking hardcore title, though.
Yes.
Bobby Sats is saying, I hope that the WWE ID program gets someone from Canadian Wrestling Elite. Vinny Da Vinci. Vinny Da Vinci. Yep. Vinny Da Vinci. Gonna put it out there.
Yep.
But right now, this is the interesting thing, by the way. I said Vinny Da Vinci. He just had his match in Montreal with Jacques Rougeau's promotion.
Yep.
Jacques Rougeau posted he's on his way to Orlando.
Nice.
I know that he's more than likely going to be visiting the PC. That's probably where my thought is on that one.
I know we're going to discuss it tomorrow night, but I want to put a shout out to a friend of Turnbuckle Studios and Northern Ontario's own Zandra Lee.
Yep.
This lovely woman right here who won the tournament for Jacques Rougeau's company and is going to Mexico and Japan.
Yeah, she won the female side of the tournament. Her and another lady whose name escapes me right now.
But good on them. Congratulations.
Okay, Zelina, I need just a little bit more speed out of you if you're going to attack. Oh my God, why is her name Ivy Nile?
Ivy Nile.
If you're going to attack Ivy Nile, that way, just a little bit more speed in those punches and that tackle, you know. But right now, speaking of speed, we're getting that out of Chad Gable and Rey Mysterio right now.
Yes, we are.
The more I look at Chad's gear, by the way, the more I think Kurt Angle.
Right.
Because that particular outfit he's wearing looks so like 2003, 2004 Kurt Angle.
Yep. Another interesting name that I forgot to suggest on the Locker Room Breakdown as the fifth man is the man who returned in a dark match after SmackDown on Friday would be Braun Strowman.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised by that because I know that we were talking about Dak Prescott and his hamstring issues. I know that Braun's also been having hamstring issues.
Well, Braun tore his groin.
Yeah, that's the hamstring,
that match
dude.
against. No, there's the groin muscle in here. The hamstring is in the back.
Believe me, I've torn a hamstring or two. They're not fun.
No. So, you know, that's another name that you could potentially look at for the men's War Games. Unless you're going to hold Braun out for a bit and let him recover.
Yeah, because I think War Games would be a little bit too risky to put him in.
Right.
And of course, I'm saying that with Seth Rollins and his back issues possibly going into the match too, you know?
Right.
Oh, sorry, his back, and earlier this year his knee issues too.
Yes. So Bobby came out saying, yes, Vinny Pacifico. No, it's Vinny Da Vinci for us for WWE ID.
Yeah.
But we'll... And he says, or you can pick Seth Rollins, which is what we are speculating here at the Raw Patrol.
Oh, I love this new attitude from Ivy Nile, by the way.
You and me both.
As we fade to another commercial, we're looking at Islanders and Flames tomorrow night at 9. No thanks. Hey, maybe I'll watch it. I don't know.
I might, because I have some Islanders on my Yahoo fantasy team.
You know, I've been actually thinking about getting involved in one of those fantasy things, but I may try and see if there's something for baseball in that sense.
Right. I'm sure there is. I'm not...
I used to actually be a part of a fantasy league for NASCAR.
Right.
And I won the one and only season I took part in.
Nice.
Because everybody that I was in that league with were picking their favorite racers based on the fact that they were their favorite racers.
Right.
They weren't paying attention to like stats or anything like that, like I was. My favorite racer of all time was Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart was racing at the time.
Right.
And I didn't pick him for a lot of races that season.
Right. Well, and because racing is so weird, because you can have, you know, a tire go flat and put you 20 laps back. You can blow your engine. Crazy accidents, weather, anything can happen in auto racing, as it can in any sport.
Yeah, any outdoor related sport, you know. But I always base my picks off of how those racers did at those tracks each week in previous years or earlier in the season, you know, or how they've been as far as racing goes over the last several weeks. That's how I picked who was going to take what, you know.
Right. I'm actually going to look at starting to maybe make some trades with my fantasy team and get some better players. I mean, if I can say this, there's one guy that I really want to get onto my team, and especially to have him there when he breaks that record this season, and that is Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah. I guess a piece of the roof fell from AT&T Stadium today.
Oh, jeez.
They just showed a guy like walking up in the rafters of the roof trying to fix it, and I'm like, there's no way in hell you'll ever get me up there.
No.
Oh, and the kickoff. Oh, by the way, it's 7-0 for the Texans right now.
I see that. I actually just flipped onto the TSN app because I wanted to check and see if Colorado was playing later, but they're playing right now.
Yeah, they've got the Amazon Prime game tonight. Bobby Stats. Sorry?
It's Edmonton and Montreal in the Prime game tonight.
Oh, okay. Bobby Stats, if you want to check out some of Vinny Da Vinci's matches, we got a couple of them over on Turnbuckle Studios. If you look up some of our CWE events that we've done there, I think we've got about 3 events there on the channel. You know who else from CWE, another local boy who I think will benefit from the WWE ID program, and he's a sponge when it comes to learning wrestling these days, despite what Bubba Duke's personal volitions with this guy.
Right.
Matt Powers, I think, could benefit from it. But right now, we've got ourselves mixed tag team action. We don't get mixed tag matches that often, and it's kind of nice to see that, you know?
It is. I know it's something that's been talked about. It's not something that I think any of us are big on, but if they do it right and get the right people in there, I would love to see an intergender match.
I've drawn up a lot of concerns when it comes to intergender matches these days. I thought you were going to say maybe we see a. It's funny you say intergender moment because we just saw Zelina Vega hit the enziguri on Chad Gable.
Right.
Man, if there's one thing about Ray these days, man, it's I don't think this dude will ever lose his step.
No. Like I said, yes, I know there's a lot of concerns with intergender matches, but like I said, it has to be the right people.
Yeah, because honestly, I watched some old Attitude Era intergender match earlier today. That kind of made me cringe a little bit, and that was Lita and Dean Malenko having had a match for the light heavyweight title at the time.
Okay.
And it was, I mean, Dean took care of Lita in the ring, but it still felt really cringe, you know?
Yep. But again, that's because we've adapted, we've overcome, and we've gotten used to.
We've grown up, as it were.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not about, because I know you can bring in the factors of and look at it as male on female abuse, but I mean, we know that it's not. We know what we're getting.
Speaking of cringe, that was a bad. I don't know what Zelina was doing there, but that messed up.
That was a bad botch. Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. I was going to put it on Ivy though, because Zelina went to drop the top rope, and Ivy went
but if you look at how tall Ivy is, there's no way she's going over that top rope in that spot.
Yeah.
In Zelina's case, she should have recognized that and pulled down the second rope. But fantastic match that we got.
Yes. And we didn't get any shenanigans out of it.
And you know what though? I'm okay with that. I am okay with that.
Me too. It's again, if we would have gotten that, I think it would be a case of oversaturation. If we are going to get shenanigans in any other match, we don't need it in everything.
And that's based off, I mean, the previous segment that ended in shenanigans with all 10 women in the War Games match brawling.
Yeah.
You don't do, when you're booking a show like that, you don't book the same finish twice in a row.
No.
Oh.
So
okay, there's still
the point of that.
That was Chad trying to get the team hype. Hyped for what? I don't know. Maybe that 6-man tag I alluded to, possibly happening. So
another interesting segment from the Judgment Day.
Yeah, Finn kind of asserting his the leadership role he wanted, trying to get Dom and Carlito hyped for their match later on tonight, and then JD pulls Finn aside to say, "Hey, we got to talk about something," which has me curious about what they need to talk about.
Right?
Isn't that just the thing? When you're watching two shows at once and they're both on commercial.
Right? All right.
I've got both my cats now with me.
Nice.
I discovered today that Charlie is a fly hunter.
Nice.
Totally caught him today hunting house flies around the house today. Wish I had my phone out for my camera to get a video of him doing it, but
Right?
literally he's one of those animals that once the camera comes out, he stops doing what he's doing.
Right.
It's like he knows. So next week is when my new cable service comes in, and there's one thing I'm going to miss, unless I do get it on this cable package. I'm going to miss checking the scores just on my TV without having to change the channel.
Right?
Oh, we're back, and yeah, I'm going to mute myself here.
Wow.
I like that. I like that.
Just wow.
Yeah. I'm hoping later tonight or even next week, maybe, we get the response from Bray about that, or from Bo Dallas about that.
Right? I was sort of waiting for that to happen as a part of that segment, but I love the fact that Karrion and Miz took it over.
And I think that's all we needed was just them two. We didn't need Authors of Pain standing in the background or anything like that, or even Scarlett or Paul Ellering there. But we do need a run-in from Chris Parrish.
We do. How are we doing, Parrish? What's going on, brother?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Good.
We were just talking about the obviously the promo that Final Testament just put out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I caught the tail end of that. I still don't really buy Miz as a tough guy, so this is only going to go as far as the Final Testament, I think, does, my opinion. We can go all the way back to an earlier comment from Bobby, and when he said it hopes WWID's program someone from Canadian Wrestling Elite. I am going to let everybody know who I think on Sunday on the Chris Parrish podcast, 5 talents that I think should be on the WWID from the independent scene in Western Canada.
I honestly can't wait to check that out because I've been trying to figure out some Canadian talent from this side of the world that I don't personally know that I think would benefit from the WWE ID, you know?
Well, that's just it. If we're all not doing our part of helping get the eyes on the product, it's just harder for other people to do so.
Yeah. Just like it seems to be hard for Damian Priest to keep his eye on things right now. I say that, and then he takes down Gunther.
That was quite the sneak attack. What's funny about this is I'm getting a lot of Edge vibes from Damian Priest, which I think is a full circle thing, given the fact that Edge started Judgment Day by bringing in Damian Priest, and then now we're kind of getting some Edge vibes from Damian Priest.
Yep.
I'm actually okay with that.
Me too.
And what I'm okay with right now is our next match.
An Intercontinental Championship match.
I already said that earlier tonight. This match is going to be a banger. So, Nikki coming in and saying, "Hey, Nikki, how's it going?"
Good evening, Nikki. Nice to see you here. Thank you for joining.
How's it going, Nikki? Thanks for checking in the stream. How is your night going? We're obviously here Surveilling the scenes of Monday night with the Raw Patrol here as we watch some Monday Night Raw as we're getting ready for the Intercontinental Championship match with Sheamus and the champion Bron Breakker. Your night is amazing. How about all of yours? Well, I'm here with friends and we're watching wrestling. How could it be any worse? Oh, and I have alcohol.
I was going to say the only way it could be worse is if the Texans lost to the Cowboys, but that's not the case right now.
No.
Oh, I can care less. I just need CJ Stroud to get me the points enough to win.
Yeah.
I think
but
quite comical if the Cowboys won.
Yeah.
They suck.
Yeah.
I think the NFL would be thrown into disarray if the Cowboys won.
No, I think Andel would be as giddy as if Patrick Mahomes won another Super Bowl. Bobby coming in saying it's nice to see Sheamus having a match against Bron Breakker. Yes, and it's going to be a banger, as Chris Best alluded to earlier. Nikki coming in saying, oh, wrestling, that's fun. I thought you were hockey enjoyers. We also are. We're multitaskers. In fact, I'm watching an Oiler game and a football game and wrestling at the same time.
We are multifaceted here.
And then we have Beats, Battles, and Plays coming in saying, an enjoyable ride to work in the snow. Well, Lord Perishing, Chris, evening, sir.
Well, Pete.
Me too. It's
you enjoy your
here
snow. Well. You enjoy your snow and keep it where you are. We don't want it here in Northern Ontario.
We're going to get it, though, within a week.
There's enough bad drivers out there. We don't need any more excuses.
Yeah. There was a bad driver the other day that drove through the front of a convenience store. Again.
Literally 2 minutes away from where I live.
Yeah.
I'm a man of many pounds, Nicky.
And 2-3 weeks before that, the convenience store across the street had the same incident happen.
Yep.
You guys are just making my point for me, aren't you?
Yeah, we are.
But it was neither of us.
That's what they all say. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you for doing that.
Bobby, for the like.
And that is a great reminder to everyone, if you're in the chat room and regardless of what platform you're on, if you have an opportunity you'd like to follow, to subscribe, to share, but also engage, please do so. We appreciate that. That helps the channel out a lot. So thank you, Bobby.
So Chris Best's mind got blown off of the opening segment, which set the women's War Games match. Because he did not have Rhea Ripley on his bingo card as coming out.
Yeah.
The fifth.
See, Best, even we can keep a surprise.
Oh, I know.
Funny thing is, I had no idea what part of the show was, so I was going to go in the comments, be like, "Oh my God, Rhea Ripley's here!" and just hope to God that it was going on.
Yeah, it was the opening segment.
Yeah.
Because if you are watching, Raw is pre-taped, as it was pre-taped last week, and next week I believe they are back to being live.
Yes.
Nikki saying she's on Twitch. She's normally here for the gaming content. That would be a perfect way to say you can tune in Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern over on Turnbuckle Studios on Twitch for the PlayStation Showcase. Saturday Night Gaming also broadcasts from there. But I don't know, does the Boar's Nest also broadcast on Turnbuckle Studios Twitch, OMD? That's where you come in.
We broadcast on the Boar's Nest YouTube or the Locker Room Breakdown YouTube, as well as the Boar's Nest Twitch. So, and I'm not sure again if I am going solo this Thursday or if Bubba is joining me He is down with technical difficulties tonight. So
He just hasn't got that modem fixed yet, has he?
he has not.
As we have a graphic for War Raiders and Dirty Dom and Carlito. Another thing you can expect this Sunday on the Chris Ferris podcast is I'm going to try to book Dominik Mysterio into a reasonable babyface.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm challenging myself. And Nikki, I do game. I just do it privately because gaming is usually something I would do to just get away. Plus, I have a 1-year-old son, so I don't have that much time for video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when he is old enough, the N64 is going to be a generational thing.
That's
Beautiful.
freaking cool.
CJ Stroud, I'm going to kick in the nuts.
What do you do?
Not getting me points is what he's doing. He's handing the ball off all the time. I don't get points when he hands the ball off to the running back. I get points with him passing or just being selfish. Why can't he be like Josh Allen once in a while?
With that beautiful running towards the end?
Not going to lie, I hope guys get absolutely just rocked when they do stuff like that. Like, makes me happy when guys get a little too showboaty and then somebody just absolutely just pounds him into next week.
Right.
As a viewer, I love it. I'm here for the carnage. I don't know them, so I don't have feelings for them.
Yeah, it was funny yesterday when I watched watched the Dolphins Raiders game, how both tight ends went off.
Hey, funny story. I was in a league where I forgot to change my tight end 5 minutes before the game. So I picked up your guys' tight end and played him, and that worked out very well.
I can imagine.
I got more point. It was a league where I didn't need to have more points, but why not?
Right.
It was funny. I think I got like 190. It was a good week.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I won like 190 to like something. It was not fair. Black Friday,
right off the bat, the action's spilling to the outside for this match here.
Yep.
Spit to the outside. Spit to the outside.
Catch me outside. How about that?
No, I was thinking about the song, not the stupid thing on the Dr. Phil. It's the Eminem song. There we go. I totally forgot what song it was.
Two trailer park girls
It's like Bron to the outside. Bron to the outside. Oh, it was okay because like this morning or at work, this is how bored I got. I take songs and I change the lyrics.
Right.
So this is my brutality.
Yeah.
Well, I mixed that with the locker room visit, and I was like, "OMD has to pee," and then you go into the music, and it's really funny.
Oh, geez.
Oh yeah.
Now I kind of want to get Chris Motionless to record that. Bron Breakker showing some speed and intensity in this match, by the way.
That is something he's not used to of doing.
Yeah.
What match are we talking about? Bron Breakker not being used to showing speed and intensity in?
Yeah, which is ironic because this match started with a speed match, like an actual match on the show speed that you can see on WWE's X account. So, kind of ironic.
Don't you think?
Canadian, so I'll allow it. Actually, she was God in a movie, so I mean,
she was.
She was God in Dogma.
Yeah. Carl, you're not here, so we go off the rails easy now.
Yeah.
Bobby coming in with a comment to get us back on track. This is going to be an awesome match for WWE, the WWE Intercontinental Championship. That it is.
Yep.
Now, I still fully expect Bron Breakker to take the win here, but it's going to be a close finish, I think.
I wouldn't actually be upset if they end up being, if they ended up just brawling and it just is a thrown out match, and then that gets like a rematch just set for like Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
Or
see that
like that.
That's something sort of to close to what I alluded to on the locker room breakdown. I said that this wouldn't be a bad idea for Sheamus and Bron Breakker to break off into a feud after this.
But also with the same thought, it wouldn't be a bad idea to add the match to War Games, because I do think War Games still needs a match or two to kind of have that card filled out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And the rumor is that Cody Rhodes will not be wrestling at Survivor Series this year, so there's the opening.
Yeah, at least one championship match on the card would be nice, you know?
We've got Gunther and Priest.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that one.
They've already had a segment on tonight's show.
Right, but I wasn't thinking Survivor Series when I saw that segment.
Okay, folks, you heard it. Chris Best flat out said he wasn't thinking. Let the comments pour in. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it.
Yes.
Commander Data had a reboot and it was caught on screen.
Yes,
Comment now. Comment
that
now.
That is a clippable moment.
I wonder if, because we saw the LA Knight Open Challenge on SmackDown on Friday. Would it make sense for him to challenge Shinsuke for Survivor Series, or do we think that is too rushed?
I think it's too rushed.
And I don't think it is.
I see where you're coming from, and I can understand it, but I think it's too rushed. You're just bringing Shinsuke back. So I think you need to get him reestablished with the WWE audience. And you save that for Saturday night's main event. And I do think you have that title change.
But that's kind of where I'm going here is we're talking about Braun and Sheamus having a feud. I think it's very much in play that Shinsuke and LA Knight are going to have a feud.
Right.
Why can't we have something like this spill into Survivor Series, going into Saturday night's main event, and to have it be something like LA Knight, who has every right to make the challenge to Shinsuke, get a little bit overzealous and be like, "You want this title? Like, come see me in Vancouver."
Right.
And then they have that match. maybe you do a title change, and then you can come back on Saturday night's main event with LA Knight getting his rematch.
Right. And I see where you're coming from, but I think we're going to see, again, like we saw with Shinsuke and Cody, where Cody kept wanting him and Shinsuke said, no, we're going to do this on my terms.
Yeah, and there's part of me that just wonders if we're going to get a different iteration of Shinsuke. But on the topic, we have Bobby coming in. I like to see Shinsuke and LA Knight save for Saturday's main event or an episode of SmackDown in December. And he does raise a good point with it being saved in December, because December is known to kind of be a little bit more of a slower month in terms of storylines.
Mhm.
So
Right.
with this being done for December, could add a little bit of action for that. I mean, but we also have the U.S. women's title, and we all know that's going to get crowned at Saturday night's main event. We already know that there's matches set. In fact, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens is being rumored to be the main event for Saturday night's main event.
Yep.
So
Apparently, Liv versus Io is also set for Saturday night's main event.
So at what point do we start looking at Saturday night's main event as being a little bit too booked?
Right.
And that is why I think, why not have some of these matches at Survivor Series where there is that open space?
Right. And I think the problem is there, like with Survivor Series, is you've got the 2 War Games matches, which take up an hour apiece because they don't officially start until everybody's in the ring.
Yeah.
So you've got at least half an hour to 45 minutes of everybody brawling in that handicapped situation. And then that 15 minutes. So there's 2 hours of your show. Gunther and Priest is easily another half hour, 45 minutes. So yeah, you need one, maybe 2 more matches to hit that 4 hour.
See, I think they're closer to 15 to 30. I don't think they're going anywhere close to 45.
Okay.
Yeah, and let's not forget that we've still got the first Raw on Netflix in January 6th to look towards booking matches for as well.
Yes, and as well, January 25th, Saturday night's main event, potentially from San Antonio.
I'm also
we're also. Go ahead.
I'm also leaning towards Bobby's idea here. If you were to put LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura for a SmackDown in December, maybe put it on during the week of Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, you could do a pre-taped SmackDown or a pre-taped Raw, and then you put that match on that pre-taped SmackDown. That way you can still get your viewers during the Christmas holidays.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So again, lots of time, because I think I'd like to see them build a story for Shinsuke as to, you know, where he's been during his time off, what has he been doing.
But at the same time, I wouldn't be too opposed of seeing LA Knight come out this Friday night on SmackDown, make that challenge to Nakamura for Survivor Series.
I'm with you there. I can understand that. I don't think we're going to get that. I think we're going to get it that LA Knight's going to call out Shinsuke, and I think we're going to get the manga videos again from Shinsuke.
Saying, I'm trying to use Japanese terms but in the wrong text.
Hey, at least he's trying.
Yeah.
And saying, you know what, like, I fought the American Nightmare, now I'm fighting for the American Championship.
Oh, that That looked a little weird.
Yep.
But not as weird as the Zelina Vega spot. That might be the weirdest spot I've seen tonight.
Yeah.
No, Zelina Vega made something look different, like weird. Get out of here.
Yeah, she tried to do the pull down the top rope spot for on Ivy Nile, and Ivy Nile went sailing through the middle rope.
I mean, she still got the job done.
Yeah, but it just looked really weird, giving Ivy Nile's height.
Nobody asks you how it goes in. They just ask if you got the goal.
Right?
Yeah. Broke, spear. Easy. Just take the count out one.
Bronco's running around the outside, Oh.
Sometimes I think Bron might be the dumbest wrestler on the roster.
You might say he's all brawn, no brain.
What are we thinking? Brain was in there break in case of emergency.
And was this not something we alluded to earlier in adding Ludwig Kaiser to the Intercontinental title picture?
I was just going to say, I did state that on the locker room breakdown that I want to see Ludwig Kaiser get into the Intercontinental title picture. I didn't anticipate it would be this way, though.
No. But maybe he took Gunther's words to heart when Gunther told him, go out and speak for yourself. Don't speak for me.
Mm-hmm.
Make your own name.
And that's exactly what he's done in this situation.
Yep.
It's why there's part of me that thinks that he'll do that on the expense of Gunther's championship, too.
A very heartfelt plea from the bloodline there. But
Yes,
I do see where Seth is coming from on the situation at the same time.
absolutely. But did we not call attention to this on the locker room breakdown earlier as well with Seth, Jay, and Sammy?
Well, I mean, we kind of figured this was going to happen even back on SmackDown as well, on the SmackDown security detail.
I think
sorry, Parrish, go ahead.
Yeah, the one thing that we have from Seth Rollins is just pure logic. And I think that at times is almost not available all the time on screen. We see a lot of logic coming out of Kevin Owens, and that's where he's at. He speaks nothing but logic for him. Seth Rollins is doing very much the exact same thing. Drew McIntyre even did it earlier this year. And it's been refreshing because it allows the characters to kind of have that much more of an emotional investment from everyone watching, because when they use logic to their decision and then they go back on, they know how much it hurts or how much it affects them for doing so. Therefore, it brings you in that much more as well.
Right.
As we are getting a promo for the Royal Rumble.
Still weirds me out that it's in February as opposed to January.
Right?
Just think it's on January 32nd. It's the same thing.
That's what I'm leaning towards.
I just like how it's a different color than red this time, because it's always been red, and I don't understand why, especially when they use red as like red is Raw, blue SmackDown, but it was like, we're going to choose something that's always a combination show, and we're just going to use one of the brands.
Right.
It just was weird. So that's why I always liked it when it was a little different. But like now that it's like blue, it's still different. But plus, I need a nice little blue hoodie, so that's what I plan on getting.
If you gentlemen will give me a moment.
OMG has to be. Two steps, please, until he hits his wheel. I might put that in one of those AI songs. Just
Do it.
I don't know how close it'll be, but it'll be really funny. I hate CJ Stroud. I'm going to murder him, and I want this documented. Stop going to your effing running back, you son of a bitch.
Bobby Stein's coming and saying, I always enjoy watching your guys work. We love it when you come in, Bobby. It's always a pleasure to have you with our show.
It was 3rd and 2. You're at the 11. You don't have to run. Now you're going to kick a field goal. I'm playing the kicker. Why, Stroud? Why? You don't even have 3 fantasy points, and it's almost at half. Why, dude? Why?
So you don't get fantasy points for a quarterback handing off the ball?
No. All of it goes to the running back. If he passes to him, like a forward pass, there's points. It's very annoying. It's very, very annoying. I told a buddy at work, I'm like, I have a feeling that this game is just going to screw me over. And so far, I'm right.
You also said last night if this game does screw you over, you're blaming the Bengals.
Well, yeah. All you guys had to do was your job, and you couldn't even do that. You know what's more annoying than watching that game? You know that when you go number 2 and then you're using the toilet paper and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to run out. And you run out and you're just like not done. You just have a little bit left and you can't, like you don't have another roll. So it's like that bit of frustration comes into play. That's what it was like watching your team do exactly what I was hoping they wouldn't do.
Yep.
Missed 2 field goals. That cost them the win.
I needed 2 players on the Chargers not to get the ball, and that's in the second half, more or less. Yeah. It's like everything to McConkey, everything to Dobbins, and then Dobbins gets that stupid touchdown at the end. Why? Because McConkey was the only passer who's captured balls, so you got him in position. Why? Because your Bengals can't play defense. Yeah, it was like watching Eli Apple on repeat all the time, who, by the way, your team used to have. We tried telling the league he's not good, and your team's like, we'll take him.
And the Chargers picking up Eli Apple for whatever reason.
I don't think Eli Apple's on a team right now. I don't know who he is.
He was activated and played last night.
No. So you guys lost at Eli Apple. That's embarrassing. That guy's the Dana Brooke of football players. I mean, you have Regal.
Yeah, but it was still so cool the way she did it.
Right?
I mean, you didn't even do anything like that for the men's, though. There's nothing cool. And the next round, we have an advantage match between the EST and Nia Jax.
But I'll tell you what is cool. Carlito and Dom standing in the ring as they wait for the War Raiders to make their way to the ring.
That's
yes.
That's dirty.
Oh, I wish there was a pun in there for the Raiders.
It's an experience.
Yep.
Being dirty and cool is an experience in itself. I don't have enough alcohol in my fridge for what's happening in sports tonight.
Why? What's going on in the Oilers game?
Oh, I just know it's 1-0 Montreal. I decided to just, if I'm watching one game that's pissing me off, I'm going to just turn the other one off because I'm learning how to control my temper when it comes to sports.
I see.
Evan Bouchard probably just like threw the puck in his own net. So it's all good. Also, I love how when I have DAZN on my TV watching football, the Thursday and Monday night games, they go on without a hitch. But when I watch the Saints on Sunday, there's always weird things.
Like a weird buffer kind of thing?
Yeah. As Bob is saying, I'm interested in matches that we could get on Raw Netflix debut. Speaking of buffering, Netflix. Raw is going to be debuting in 2025. I am as well, Bobby, as it's being rumored that everything is going to be thrown into that episode, whereas even Roman Reigns is scheduled to appear on Raw.
Becky Lynch is also rumored to be appearing.
Cody.
Rumored. But Roman Reigns is officially
confirmed.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch, though, there is one confirm about her. A new deal has been signed for Becky Lynch.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to get Becky versus Charlotte in an interpromotional match to open Raw on Netflix.
Probably not, because nothing's set in stone for Charlotte right now.
Now, I was saying on Sunday, and this is kind of more for OMD, because I know you were listening at best, but I definitely think that we are going to see the U.S. women's title be crowned without a peep of mentioning anything for a mid-card championship on Raw for the women's. And then once that title is officially crowned and we do have a champion, I think then and only then we will get something for the women. And I do think perhaps a bigger unveiling of the WWE Women's Intercontinental title could be Netflix, January 6th. And I think that Saturday night main event that you're talking about could be where they crown that first champion. So we'd have two women's mid-card championships not being intertwined with each other, but getting the light of their day and to stand out on their own.
Right. And yes, like we have heard that the rumor is San Antonio for Saturday night's main event in January, a week before the Rumble. And it's really interesting because for the 2 days prior, for the Thursday and the Friday, TNA is hosting Impact and the Genesis pay-per-view in San Antonio.
Yeah. And news coming out of TNA, Josh Alexander has come out and said that he is retiring from the independents. And there is belief that he is going to test free agency in 2025.
Yes.
With a belief, no confirmed sources, but a belief that he is looking to be WWE bound in 2025. Now, a lot of that could change, but with one of his best friends in Ethan Page being in WWE already, with other friends already there, it could only make a lot of sense, especially with the reports of Scott D'Amore being poking around the Performance Center in the last week and two. I will have a little bit more of news about that on Sunday as well.
Yes, as we are. He did come out yesterday and officially say that he was retiring from the Indies. He had said earlier this year that he was going to test free agency.
Yeah.
I had also heard a report that he was the next potential superstar to cross over in the NXT/TNA crossover.
Yeah. He was actually in the ring with a good friend of mine, Bron Breakker. I've had the opportunity to share the ring with Bron Breakker. That is someone who everyone needs to keep an eye out on. Beautiful.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Josh is, picking the brain of someone like Jordan Grace, saying, what's the atmosphere like? What's the environment like?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think he has to talk to just Jordan Grace. He can talk to an Ethan Page. He can even talk to fellow workmate Nick Nemeth. He can talk to Trent Seven. He could talk to a plethora, because we got to get that word in there, of people, because the team, Nick Aldis.
Yep.
Motor City Machine Guns.
Yep.
Naomi.
AJ Styles, if we want to go back.
Yeah.
But...
Joe Hendry.
Yep.
Only if you believe.
I do believe.
Okay. Joe Hendry, you better show your face here, because we said your damn name.
That's right.
Okay, if you're going to clap, make sure that's on string, because if we hear that sound and we don't see any hands, we're thinking something else.
Yes, we are very, very
my water bottle.
That's what they all say. It's the oldest trick in the book.
You know what else they're all saying right now? They're all saying, here are your winners, the War Raiders.
Yeah. And that's cool. I'm just finishing it off with what you started.
Yeah. I love it.
It was a dirty experience we went on, but we got there.
Okay, so this is what I go to assume JD said he wanted to talk to Finn about.
So OMD, I was talking to Best yesterday, and I put out a thing of if, and just if Adam Cole was to leave AEW and return to WWE, where would be the best spot to put him? And I said, put him in the Judgment Day.
Interesting. To be honest, I would look at...
Before you go there, let me cook for a second as we get a Wyatt 6 thing. So I'll let that linger. Oh, that is looking way too much like Bray. He is looking a lot like Bray.
Oh, that was just awesome.
Right?
Okay, so what I was saying, we had to shut up for that.
Yep.
But hypothetically, it happens soon, right? Like we're just saying it's happening, right?
Right.
We've been seeing Dom kind of step up a little bit, even towards Finn, even last week when he's like, I've been closer to the championship than you, stuff like that.
Yep.
This is just an example what to expect on Sunday. But he gets a little too cocky in the sense of pushing back in the Judgment Day. And normally when people do that, they get the boot from Judgment Day, right?
Right.
And yes, I'm aware also so are people who say that they are the leader. They also tend to get the boot. But Finn realizes that Dom is becoming too much of a adolescent kid in the Judgment Day. He's the adolescent teenager, right? He's the one that always wants to rebel and go against, the orders and,
Right.
to give you kind of that perspective. So he has an answer of someone who knows what it's like to put the bullet into someone.
Right.
because all we know that Adam Cole was the one who was responsible for kicking. Do you remember who he kicked out of the Bullet Club?
AJ Styles.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Best.
Finn Balor.
There we go.
I thought it was AJ that kicked Finn out.
No.
So he goes back to his past, and he brings in Adam Cole, who is his guy to kick Dom out of the Judgment Day. And then you start off with Dominik Mysterio versus Adam Cole. And then you work your way up to Finn Balor.
For me, I would go Final Testament for Adam Cole.
What's the connection? You have to now. You got to sell me on the connection. I'll buy it if you sell me.
I think again, it goes back to his past in leading the Kingdom, and then of course the Undisputed Era, and now onto this Undisputed Kingdom, whether that's staying together or not. I don't know if he has any history with Karrion Kross.
He does. He has the wicked time he verbally buried him in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
So
you were given everything. He's got the girl, you got the you got the music. You know what they do to make Adam Cole special? They ring the freaking bell. That is what he did.
Yeah.
It was during the pandemic, and he cooked against him.
So I think that, again, you're going to see probably similar to what they did with Seth Rollins when they put AOP with him. You're going to see, I think, from what we saw earlier with that Karrion Kross Miz promo, potentially the fracture there, and AOP needing new guidance, new leadership. You bring in Adam Cole as that guy to challenge for the singles title while guiding AOP, and potentially that the devil's advocate, if you will. Again, I think Adam Cole plays that really well, so he can come in and overthrow the Final Testament.
Okay, so you just want Adam Cole to become Karrion Kross too. That's basically what it sounds like.
To a point, yeah. But I think he's in this position. He's probably better suited for that role than Karrion Kross, because they've really botched Karrion's career and AOP with this.
I don't think so. I don't think Final Testament has been a botch. I think they're just in a position where there's better groups right now, especially on the heel side, to the point that once these groups start kind of disappearing and start like exploding, and then all of a sudden the Final Testament is the main heel group, that's when I think we'll start seeing more and more out of them. Remember, even Judgment Day took a while to really get going, and then when it did, it really went. There was a time, even when Edge was kicked out, we all were finished with the Judgment Day. And we thought, this is just getting too much. Like, this isn't working. And then all of a sudden, 6 months later, that was the main thing working. Okay, so the match is set for next week, and there's nothing about the New Day 10th anniversary for next week.
No, there is not.
So one could assume that it's going to be after Survivor Series.
Well, I mean, who knows? Because they did say that it was happening this month, and next week is only the 18th. So if you go back to the 25th, when I believe we looked into it, and the New Day's official in-ring debut was the 28th of November.
Yeah. No, but I'll say this, though. If the 25th was acceptable, really, why isn't like December 1 or 2?
Right.
Because it's relatively the same amount of days from that day. I just think it's cool that, you know, they're making it known that the 10th year of the New Day is something that they deem worthy enough to honor and celebrate. I think that's the major takeaway. I'm just kind of curious, okay, when is it going to be? Because now I just want to see something out of it. But But I believe we're at our main event now.
We are.
What if they?
Go ahead, Bess. Before we
I was going to say just spitballing here, but what if they just do the 10th anniversary celebration at Saturday night's main event?
Is that too much for Saturday night's main event with everything else that's going on?
I think so.
If you look at how they used to do Saturday night's main event, though, is it really not too much at the same time, though? Because they used to like overload those cards.
Yeah, I guess I have to see how they do it, and I guess that's really it.
Right. And I mean, we have to ask ourselves, like, are they doing? Is it going to be a 2 or a 3 hour show for Saturday night's main event? Or are they going to go and just do an hour like they did the last round earlier in the 2000s?
My guess it's at least 2 hours, potentially more.
Yeah, because the way they're promoting it, they're almost promoting it like it is a PLE.
Bobby also coming in before we even go there. I had to like because we went off on a tangent. He said, "Or Adam Cole can go solo," and that's a very thing too. I just always thought Adam Cole works better with people than he does by himself. Henry?
Yeah, I actually had no Henry today.
You said and I'm.
Well, because I'm sitting here and I'm like, I called this. I called this on the locker breakdown.
We didn't call it for this early into the match.
Right, but I did say Solo's bloodline coming out and not exactly getting involved with the match.
Right.
But I also thought I also said Seth was going to, jump out and attack them before they could even attack him.
Okay, so I have to ask, are we not setting the seeds for Roman Reigns to put it out there for Seth Rollins before he agrees? Because we have seen Roman yeet to get Jay on board. In unison, he did the ones with Sammy. I wonder if the week prior or the week going into Survivor Series, we see a situation where Roman helps out Seth Rollins and he extends the Shield fist.
You know what? I was going to go with that. I was actually going to say potentially we see the invite for Seth to come to SmackDown this Friday. I think we still get the no from Seth until that week before Survivor Series.
I wonder if we're going to get just a one-on-one segment with him, or with the two, sorry. And Roman Reigns brings in a steel chair. He turns his back, or he gives Seth the steel chair. He turns his back. And he's like, and then we see about maybe 5-10 seconds go through. Seth plays it up, doesn't do it. So Roman Reigns turns around and says, if you don't want to do it, do this.
Right.
I think that would absolutely blow the roof off the place.
Oh, it would.
Yeah, the crowd would go insane.
Because in a 2 to 3 minute segment, that just went around the clock of history.
Yeah.
Bobby coming in saying, it's nice to see Bronson getting another match against Seth Rollins. I don't think any of us are going to argue Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed after what they did at Crown Jewel.
Right. I'm actually happy that Bronson Reed is getting this spotlight finally.
Yes, I still haven't seen Crown Jewel.
Bro, you gotta see that triple threat US match. Like that's the match to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, Crown Jewel is not a huge one that I have to go out and watch.
This was by far, and I don't think I'm even speaking. This is easily the best Crown Jewel show they've done.
Yeah.
Everything hit, everything worked, and I think right now we're looking at a redefinition of what a Crown Jewel show is, and I think it started off with this one.
Right, because when they first started these Saudi shows, they were non-existent. They didn't have anything tied to the main storylines.
Right.
Now they do.
Yeah. Also, you kind of just want to see how big those titles are.
Yeah.
Compared to people. Because I still think the side plate of the title is bigger than Liv Morgan's face.
Oh,
Yep.
And people can hate them. I actually love them. I really do.
Wow.
For a one-time thing, I love them. Because if you're winning it once a year, they should look completely different and bigger than anything else. And that's what they are. Plus, you get a Crown Jewel ring signifying you won. And the belt stays in Saudi Arabia for a show.
Yeah.
I don't hate the idea. I'm just letting it kind of muster so we as fans could start getting used to the fact that this is going to be an annual thing, and now it's going to be history. It's going to be a part of things, just like a Queen and King of the Ring, just like Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble. Well, Beth, congratulations. You guys are going to win.
I was going to say, I don't remember. Is this a anything goes style match, or is this just supposed to be a straight up one-on-one?
No, because the referee was making a 10 count.
Yeah, this is a straight up match. I think you're just going to see a lot of leeway.
Yeah. Oh, I see the score now in the Canadian and the Habs Oilers game now.
Yeah. You dill. No, can't say that word. You idiot.
There you go.
Hey, I caught myself. That doesn't happen all the time.
I know
No,
you.
it does not.
See, I'm evolving. The Dallas kicker hit that upright, and I may or may not also be in another league playing Houston's defense, so points scored against them works in my favor. And it's not like it was a big kick either. It's like Nico Collins just make the catch, you donkey. Raw. We're watching Raw.
Yeah,
We
we've
are.
got. I thought. Oh, okay. Maybe he is now, but I kind of thought that Seth Rollins was building towards a curb stomp on the stairs there.
Well, I mean, he's done it before.
Yes, he has, and it led to an eye for an eye match.
No, he's curb
He
stomped
did-
Bronson Reed on the steps before. Again,
Yeah.
you should watch Crown Jewel. They also had a very good match at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, they did.
So did Gunther and Cody, actually.
The whole show is actually really good. Okay, I thought that was a 3 count, but it was just the way the ref got into position there.
Yeah.
Now we're going into what appears to be our last commercial break.
Yeah, which would be a perfect time to showcase everything we've got going on at the Turnbuckle affiliation program. There it is.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday we get a variety stream with the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Friday we game again with Unleashed, the Jessica Wilde story at 7 p.m. Following the game, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
OMD, you are very loud now.
That's not me.
That is you.
No, that's you.
Yeah.
No, that's also you, best.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. It's like both of you. You guys are like tagging up right now. There we go. Yeah, that now it's you.
Yeah, it
But
seems you seem to get louder, OMD, when we come out of those commercials. I don't know what it is.
I don't know, because like I can barely hear my show. I'm at level 6 volume on my TV.
I think it's because we're all silent, and that's what it is. When there's noise and like we're talking on things, we don't hear it as much. But when we're all quiet, then everything else is louder.
But I'll tell you what is loud right now. It's these fans that are just going insane for this match right now.
Yes.
This is a good sign because, as we said, this was a pre-tape Raw.
Yep.
So the fact that they're still this loud just shows you just how much energy they had for the whole. Because that's multiple hours.
Yes.
Yeah, because I got to assume that this would have been like the third hour, perhaps, for them.
Yeah, I don't know if necessarily they're seeing all the backstage segments as well.
No, because
that's what I'd be curious to see that were from like people who are at these shows.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've heard that the vignettes and the backstage stuff are all taped throughout the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were not shown to the live crowd.
Well, I think too, like what you're gonna see is like probably those being taped at like SmackDown taping or like the SmackDown shows or other ones as well.
Right. I mean, I've done a Raw SmackDown Super Show where the Raw was live, SmackDown was taped for the Friday because the Friday was Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Now, when I was there, we did see all of the segments that were taped. But I'm wondering, like, if they would have taped this show before going live last week, or if you're sitting there from 6 p.m. when you get main event to Raw starting at 8. And then are you there like 8 until midnight watching Raw?
Well, they tell everybody on these shows to be there an hour earlier. So I think what it is that everything starts an hour earlier. And I think what they do is I honestly believe like last week, like when we got the first hour, that hour was already past. Like they were already probably filming the second hour when we were starting the first hour.
Right.
So everything's kind of back filmed in that way.
Right.
Yeah, that's what they call live to tape.
Yeah.
But you also got to factor in that they also taped main event at the show as well.
Yeah.
And they probably did main event probably in between the Raw tapings.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give everyone that breather. Also, shout out to Seth Rollins' gear. Beautiful color choice.
Gotta love that gold and black.
And white. Black and gold and white. It's the light. Follows Chris Perry podcast.
Which you can catch Sundays at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, just like the commercial I just said.
Yep.
Well, you didn't say nothing on it. It was our beautiful spokesperson that shall not be named.
Now Bronson put some oomph on that finish for sure.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did.
When he was doing all those little backsplashes, I hope he was going, wee! Every time. If anybody asks, did I do those? I sure did. And did I say that? I sure did.
And what a way to go out with just Braun and Solo standing side by side over Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, we didn't get any actual interference or shenanigans in the match. We got that little bit of a distraction right at the end.
Yeah, and I think now it's definitely up to Seth, and I think that's kind of the big. He's realized two things. One, even though he doesn't want to be in the same match with Roman Reigns, what he can understand right now that if he has a score to settle with Bronson Reed has chosen the side of Solo Sikoa and his bloodline, and that when that interferes in his business, that also brings in Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu, which will then bring in Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Sami Zayn. And that also brings in Solo Sikoa, which could also bring in Roman Reigns. So, even though he wants to handle his business right now, it's intertwining with other people's business.
Yep.
And because of that,
So again,
he is
we're
forced to lower his shield in distrust and raise his shield of brotherhood and accept Roman Reigns, his bloodline acceptance, and tag with him at War Games.
So again, we did not get the official answer. I'm sure we're going to get another clue as when we pay attention to the SmackDown security detail. But if we get this match intertwining, and we do, as we're speculating, get Seth Rollins as that fifth man, do we then see Seth versus Bronson 3 at Saturday night's main event?
I still hope that we slow play it to the Royal Rumble, and that is like an opening match, or maybe like it's just a match that's before the men's Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's something that, we could get, because I always love those matches where we have a match that has a feud end at the Rumble, then you get the Rumble match itself, and then all of a sudden it goes into something else. So you get your closure, and then you get your what's next in the same night. I always think that's a very special thing, especially when now that's your introduction to the road to WrestleMania.
Right.
All gears are going, and what better place than Indianapolis to get your gears going. But I don't know, that's just my opinion, because again, Saturday main event is getting a little clustered or a little full. I don't know, but at the same time, who knows? They may be wanting to have Saturday night's main event feel like a PLE. Who knows?
Right.
But overall, this show was fire. I love this show. It was a great way to start the show with Rhea Ripley, and a great way to end the show with Bronson standing tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because who would have had the women's War Game match be official before the men's?
Right.
Right.
but that's what that is where we're at now. And yes, we have the story. We know where it's probably going to lead to for the men's, but now we have the ability to watch everything cook with the women's, and I think that's a great sign. On top of that, we already have Damian Priest going up against Gunther for that world heavyweight title. I'm assuming we're probably going to get another women's match, maybe a tag match of some sort.
Okay.
Do we know if the Judgment Day versus the War Raiders is set for Saturday night's main event?
We do not.
So I'm wondering if that gets put for. How do you not have the War Raiders wrestle at War Games?
Right.
So I'm going to already predict that that's going to be a match that's put up there.
Okay. And do we get a potential traditional Survivor Series elimination match?
Potentially.
I did suggest, like, as Best and I discussed on the locker room breakdown, I suggested we either go with this LWO versus American Made in a mixed elimination tag, or I know Best is more partial to Final Testament versus Wyatt 6.
Yeah, I think that
you can go both ways.
Yeah, I think that's something that is more likely.
Yeah, because here's the problem with mixed tag Survivor Series matches. If let's say Zelina Vega eliminates Ivy Nile, then we know LWO is going to win.
Right.
It's funny, we're talking about getting your gears ready, but Raw was in Detroit, another place that knows how to get your engine going. But no, I mean, I think the Wyatts and Final Testament is more likely. I mean, right now, I think you'd have to get another one for American Made. I don't think you're going to go for the women. Plus, who would be the people? Because I think, Berto might be good to go, but his partner isn't so much able to. So I think there's more limitations there.
Right.
So I think the Wyatts versus the Final Testament make a little bit more sense.
Yeah. Plus, I think it's time that we get the Wyatts on a PLE. So
yeah.
Well, what better to do than on a main 4 too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So with everything kind of going, we are now officially under the 2-week War Games. We now have 3 shows, whether it's Raw and SmackDown. So we only have 2 SmackDowns and 1 Raw left. Before we hand out damn shows, what do we expect to see between now and then?
I was gonna say I'm thinking maybe we get Seth's answer this Friday as opposed to the night before War Games, which would be next Friday. But at the same time, I'm also curious as to how Roman Reigns is now going to try to reach out to the wise man.
Yeah, I think we're going to see an appearance from Seth this Friday on SmackDown. I don't think we get his answer, but I do think we may hear from the wise man this week. He'll show up, or we're going to wait and we're going to get Paul Heyman at Survivor Series.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the Paul Heyman connection could be done on the final SmackDown before War Games.
Right.
Leaving, okay, well, what does this mean? And even if it's not Seth, I think the only person at that point that would make any sense is Brock Lesnar.
Right.
Yep.
And hey, I mean, I'm all for Canadians wrestling in Canada. So, but no, I mean, if it ain't Seth, it has to be Brock at that point. And it'd be a good way to bring Brock into it. We know that if Seth doesn't want to work with Roman, we know that Roman and Brock do have that mutual respect.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's curious. I'm very curious to see how that all plays out over the next 3 shows.
What I'm gonna wonder is, do we maybe get before we get the Paul Heyman or after we get it, do we get the announcement of Solo's wise man?
If he does have one, who knows if Solo even does have one. And I think that might be, since the narrative really isn't there, I don't know if that's necessary. And maybe that could just be something that we see down the road. Like, who knows? Maybe Heyman turns on Roman at War Games, and he is Solo's wise man.
I mean, Heyman has turned on people at Survivor Series before.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But so yeah, I mean, who's know? All we know, this is why we watch the shows, and this is why tune in to SmackDown Security Details to see the three Stooges again. Kind of going.
Oh, wise guy, huh?
Well, I mean, somebody has to. So with that being said, I think it's no better of a best time to end those socials. So why don't we start with you this time?
Yeah, let's start with me. That. He said best. No, you're not the best. So my link, you can find me at my link tree, which is linktr.ee/Chris_best83. You can look for me alongside OMD tomorrow night, 8:05 p.m. Eastern, for Turnbuckle Talk as well. Now on to you, Mr. Parrish.
Well, I mean, it's just right there. It's just right there. You guys have eyes. You guys have an attention span. You can see everything tip or down. So I don't have to just say it for you. But what I can say is, as you're doing that, you're going to see a multitude of links on that link tree, including my Blue Sky. So go follow. But I want you to focus on the X account. I want you to focus on the YouTube. I want you to focus on Facebook, Twitch, and Instagram, because that is where you can see the Chris Parrish podcast every Sundays at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time as we celebrate the full first year of the Chris Parrish podcast. Yes, this is episode 52. We complete the first year of the Chris Parrish podcast, and I am going to talk a little bit about, as I said earlier, I'm going to try to book Dominik Mysterio as a babyface. I'm going to give my top 5 of who I'd like to see WWE introduce to the ID program, plus much more. So make sure you're checking that out. And if that by chance you are out of gas doing that, that's fine, because I got a 10% discount for you. Only if you go to rogueenergy.com and use the promo code PARISH, PERISH.
All right, and how about you, Mr. OMD?
I can do that, and it's at my link tree, linktr.ee/OMD show.
All right, where can the people find you next?
They can watch me right here, as you alluded to, with you tomorrow night on Turnbuckle Talk at 8:05 Eastern.
All right, and on that note, OMD, those famous words that Carl Carafo likes to go out on, what are they?
Ladies and gentlemen, the world is a scary place. Take care of each other. From all of us here at Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, good night, good luck, we out.